Hello, lovely students. Welcome to virtual class right here. I'm going to be going through the slideshow in case you are confused about some things or need some clarification. So this standard is about World War II. I'm going to try to go fast so this video isn't very long, but this is a long slideshow, so it might take a while. All right, so the first thing you need to understand is during World War II, we did not want to get involved. We wanted to be neutral. All right. However, Congress is going to pass something called the Lend-Lease Act. All right. What's that going to do? That's going to help give money to the British war effort. Okay. So Britain is in this war. We're not in it yet. Okay. But we are helping out Britain by giving them money. All right. So we kind of lend them some of our stuff and lease some of our supplies to them so that we can help them financially. Okay. That is what Lend-Lease is. All right. Here's a simpler definition if you want to take a look at that. All right. I love this slideshow because I made all these little cartoons last year when I was subbing for Miss Powell, so that is fun. All right. We give a lot of money, $50 billion worth of equipment to all these different countries. Okay, we got Britain here. Russia's actually going to be on our side for this war. Okay, we're going to not like them later, but we like them now. Okay, or Soviet Union because they're going to follow communism. And this flag, I need you to understand that this is the Chinese flag. All right. This might not be the Chinese flag that you are used to. That is because they changed their flag once they turned communist, but this is them pre-communism, okay? So if you see this flag, this is Chinese, all right? Pearl Harbor, how do we get into the war? What is the cause of the U.S. joining the war? Is Pearl Harbor, if you know what happened at Pearl Harbor, okay? This is a harbor in Hawaii. Remember when we talked about imperialism, why we got Hawaii is because we wanted Pearl Harbor, all right? So let's get a little bit of background on the Pearl Harbor incident, all right? So what's happening is that Japan is being aggressive to China, all right? But as we see back here, we like China, all right? So we don't like that Japan is being so aggressive to China, all right? That's pretty much what all this is saying. All right, they're going to actually even conquer China. They're going to take them under military occupation. All right, and that doesn't make us happy because we are buds with China. You know what I'm saying? We're friends with China, and we don't want anybody messing with our friends, and that is exactly what Japan is doing. We don't like that. All right, you like my little graphic here? All right, we can send supplies to China, and they're like, thank you, but Japan is like, we're going to conquer China. All right, we're just going to overtake them, and China's like, oh no, please help, Japan is invading us, we are scared. All right, that's what that is. This is kind of what's going on in Europe, but we don't need to talk about that. All right, so we are going to place an embargo on Japan, meaning we are not going to sell them any more oil. I kind of missed it there. All right, we're not going to send them any more oil. That is going to piss Japan off because now they don't have any oil that they need, all right? Because during war, even if we're not friends with people, we still trade with them. But this was drawing the line because they were messing with our friend too much, so we didn't give them oil. They got pissed off at us, all right? So on this fateful day, December 7th, 1941, all right, the Japanese actually launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. We had absolutely no idea that this was going to happen, all right? This day was a Sunday. Why would they attack us on a Sunday morning? People are sleeping in, all right? People are sleeping in. It's a weekend. People do not expect Japan to come and destroy Pearl Harbor. There's tons of clips on YouTube. If you just type in Pearl Harbor attack from different movies, clips like that, that you can look at if you want to kind of understand how much of a surprise it was and how people did not know that was going to happen. So lots of people died. All right. President Roosevelt, FDR, is still president at this time, and he saw this happen, and he was like, oh my gosh, we need to go to war immediately, okay? Japan just can't come and destroy our port and do something like that and get away with it. All right, so here's my graphic. Oh, hey, we don't like what you're doing to China, so we put an embargo on Japan, and they're like, oh my gosh, let's do something about it. So then in turn, they attack Pearl Harbor, all right? I have actually a video clip in here if you want to take a look at this, all right? All right, so what you need to understand, all right, is that there are I'm going to bring you guys over here. There are two different theaters, okay? We call them theaters in the war, okay? We have a war in the Pacific, all right, and we have a war in Europe, all right? Who are we fighting? When I say Pacific theater, that is U.S. versus Japan, okay? All right, because they are in the Pacific Ocean, all right? And then the European theater, where is that? Europe, very good. That is going to be U.S. versus Germany, okay? Germany is our bad guys. These are the Nazis, okay? Nazi Germany during this time. Okay, so we have two different theaters. We're going to talk about this one first, and then we're going to talk about this one. So we're going to talk about this entire timeline first, and then we're going to go back and we're going to do the European timeline. Does that make sense? All right, so what's going on in the Pacific Theater? What's going on in our war with Japan? All right, I know in your study guide there's a question that says something about equipment. What you need to know is that it was very difficult to get equipment out to the Pacific, all right? And usually when that stuff got there, the equipment was outdated because it took months and months for supplies to get to where it needed to go. That's the answer that I want you to put there. I want you to understand that it was very difficult to get supplies where it needed to go, all right? This talks about how there was no infrastructure. We should know what infrastructure is. That's what all this is talking about, is it's very difficult to get supplies where it needs to go, okay? That's all you need to know. All right, see, love my little graphic. It's hard to get where this needs to go, into the Pacific region, all right? That's all that is saying. Okay, what we need to add to our list of things to know about the Pacific Theater is the Battle of Midway. All right, that's going to be against Japan. That's going to be in the Pacific Ocean. All right, we are going to have a battle with Japan, and we are going to win. Yay, U.S. Okay, we use this tactic called island hopping. All right, that should be somewhere in here. I don't know where it is. But the Battle of Midway is going to be our turning point against Japan. All right, that is when we're like, yep, Japan, it's going to be over for you. All right, there was actually a movie made in 2019 called Midway. It's got Nick Jonas in it. I was really excited. I was going to show you clips of Nick Jonas, but you'd have to watch them out on your own now. But they're really good clips from that movie, just to show how they were dive bombers, because this was going on in the ocean area. It was not on the mainland. All right, so here's another little graphic. We're in the Midway Islands. And we knew that Japan was going to come, and they didn't know we were going to come. It's pretty crazy. We kind of intercepted their telegram or whatever communication. They had the secret code, and we decoded it. It was crazy. That's what it was in the movie. It was really good. But what you need to know about island hopping, you need to understand that the Pacific region has lots of little baby islands, as you can see here. So what we do is we hop around the different islands, refueling our planes and anything that we need to update or anything like that. So we kind of bounce around. We don't really stay in one place. That's what island hopping is, just moving around as a war tactic. It's a war tactic that we use in the Pacific. All right, here are my beautiful clips. Look, it's Nick Jonas. Love him. So cute. I mean, he's probably going to divorce his wife and marry me, right? Okay, so we have that turning point. And now what's going on in the U.S. right now is something called the Manhattan Project. All right, what the Manhattan Project is a code name for people who are creating an atomic bomb or atomic weapon, okay? Atomic bombs were not a thing back in the day. This is when we are experimenting with them. All right, because even though we won that Battle of Midway, Japan is very, very vigilant. They're going to keep going through anything, no matter what. All right, so we have to end this war, and the way we end it might have to be with atomic bombs, okay? So the Manhattan Project is the secret project in which people were experimenting with atomic bombs, okay? They wanted to build an atomic weapon for World War II. That is America. That's an American thing. All right, you need to know that it was in Los Alamos, New Mexico. This is very important. You need to know where it was. Okay, it's in New Mexico. Why is it in New Mexico? There are lots of deserts in New Mexico, so if you're experimenting with a giant bomb, you're not going to hurt anybody if they are in the desert. All right, here are the two atomic weapons that we actually produced, Fat Man and Little Boy. This is what a atomic bomb mushroom cloud looks like. It explodes very, very high into the air, and it reaches all across. Okay. We are in a predicament now, okay? FDR has died at this point, and his vice president, Harry Truman, is going to take over, all right? And so the question is, should we use these bombs on Japanese cities to get them to surrender? On Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we do, okay? We bomb these cities in order to get Japan to stop and surrender, all right? It was a hard decision, though, because if you use this bomb, you are going to kill innocent people living in those cities. You are not killing an army. You're not killing a base or anything. It's like if somebody dropped a bomb on New York City or Atlanta. It'd be something like that, all right? But in turn, if you do that, instead of going into the mainland with an invasion, you're going to save all of those lives from those military personnel who would have to go to the mainland to fight. Does that make sense? All right, so the atomic bombs is going to lead to two things. It's going to end World War II in the Pacific Theater. All right, it's going to end World War II in the Pacific Theater. You need to understand, after we bomb two cities, Japan is like, okay, we're done. All right, but it's going to start something called the space race that is going to be in our next standard 20. All right, when we talk about the space race and all of that stuff and people trying to build atomic weapons during that time. All right, here's a picture of Hiroshima before the atomic bomb and after. You see how everything got completely destroyed. All right, here's the mushroom cloud, some information on that. Okay, we did warn Japan that we were going to do this. With these little leaflets we put down. But, I mean, everything gets totally destroyed in an atomic bomb, okay? The radius, this is the point in which everything is destroyed all the way until buildings catch on fire. And then even these buildings that are still intact, they are affected because of the radiation, which causes cancer and deformities, all right? These are the kind of deformities, if you want to look at these on your own, you've got, like, infants who are born with deformities, people whose faces are burned off. I mean, these are innocent people that got hurt in that battle, right? This is a great video. I linked it in your activity sheet. So take a look at this for more description of how the atomic bomb works. This is your activity that you're going to do in your assignment, okay? All right. So if we take a look, come back over here, all right, to the Pacific Theater, all right? Things we're going to add, things we need to know about the Pacific Theater is the Battle of Midway, the Manhattan Project, okay, Manhattan Project, and the dropping of the atomic bombs, okay, and that is what ends the war with Japan, okay. That's what we need to know, okay. We also need, we need to know island hopping, all right. Make sure you understand that island hopping. I know it's in the PowerPoint somewhere, okay. That can kind of go with Battle of Midway there. Those are the terms that go on this side, all right. Next thing we're going to talk about is the European theater, the other side, what's going on in Europe, because this is a war that we fight on two different fronts, all right? All right, let's go. Okay, European theater. We're fighting Nazi Germany. Do you see my little cartoon? We are fighting Nazi Germany, and again, it is very difficult to get supplies to where it needs to go because there are German submarines that are in the way, going and hurting the American ships. So kind of like the same issue in the Pacific is that it's very difficult to get supplies where it needs to go. Well, in the Pacific, it just was difficult because it was so far away, and here we have German submarines trying to take those fleets out. All right, that's all this is saying. That's it. Gasoline's a problem. Blah, blah, blah. D-Day. Okay, you need to know what D-Day was. All right, if you've never heard of D-Day, you need to understand what it is. Okay, this is a huge victory for the Allies. We are the Allies. America is a part of the Allies with Britain, China, and the Soviet Union. All right, we're going to reclaim Europe because what happened during this time is Nazi Germany overtook France. So France is under Nazi German occupation. Okay, so D-Day is actually going to take place in France. All right, on the beaches of Normandy. Okay, so here's a map of Europe. This is Germany right here. This is France. Right here up at the top is Normandy. It's at the northern tip of France, okay, right under Great Britain. That is where D-Day happens, okay? We send all these American troops over to Normandy to invade France because France was on our side, but then Germany overtook them. All right, so we go there to try to have a pushback, and it is extremely successful, but very, very deadly at the same time. There is a scene from Private Ryan, the very first scene, that is about D-Day. It's very powerful, very moving. I would watch it if you have the chance. It's this clip right here. Please take a look at it because it's pretty crazy. All right. Okay, so this is what we do. It's America and Britain. They're like, let's attack Normandy, and they go right here. Nazi Germany was not really expecting that. That's why it was such a success. And in 1944, the war actually ends in 1945, so we have one more year to go. All right, here I am. When I was in 8th grade, I went on a trip to Normandy. I know, I look pretty good. So these are the like giant bomb craters from the bombs that were happening during D-Day. It was pretty crazy. All right, the Holocaust. It's not in our standards, but I hope you take the time to kind of research the Holocaust. I got different pictures here, and I have some videos. I did a whole research paper on the Holocaust. If you're interested in that, let me know. but it's kind of hard because we're not here. Okay, last thing we need to know, the Battle of Berlin, also known as the Fall of Berlin. It's the same thing. What we're going to do is with Soviet Union and America, we're going to come together on Berlin and we're going to pop it like a pimple. Boop. That's how I like to think of it as. All right, if we look, we got Soviet Union here. Let me put this on. Soviet Union and then America, and we're going to go to Berlin. We're going to pop it like a pimple, and Hitler knows that he has lost. So that is how we end the war in the European theater. All right, so back over here, if we take a look at our chart, we need to understand that the terms that we need to know for the European theater is D-Day and the fall of Berlin. Okay, those are the terms that we need to know on this side, okay? So if you need to draw this chart down somewhere, something like that, pause the video and make sure that you understand where those terms fit in which theater, all right? What's going on at home, okay? What is going on at home? It's going to be something called total war or war mobilization, okay? Mobilization is when everyone at home is doing everything to help the war effort. All right, so we're going to make things like production or war production boards where they regulate the production and allocation of materials. Okay, rationing, right here, rationing is when you can only give a certain amount of things to people. For example, I mean, today I can go out and I can buy as much butter as I want, right? I can go to the grocery store, I can take all the butter and I can buy it, okay? When you are rationing, they say you get this much butter, you get this much, because all the stuff that we don't use, we need to send to the troops. Okay, overseas. We need to send all that stuff overseas. All right. What is going to happen in this war that is huge is that husbands are going to leave to go to the war. Who takes over their jobs? Who's going to build the tanks and the guns and everything? It is going to be women. Women are going to enter the workforce. All right. And when their husbands come back, they don't really want to leave. Okay. That's what's going to happen. All right. So when we talked about Henry Ford making the automobile, all right, he's actually going to turn his plants or the assembly lines making cars are not going to make cars anymore. They're going to make military weapons, tanks, things like that. All right, so instead of making cars here, they're making tanks. That is a form of total war. You see what I'm saying? Even people back home who aren't fighting in the war are contributing to it. All right, rationing, I have a little picture here. Like, here's your ration. You get 2 pounds of sugar per week. All right. So that we can allocate our resources, that we don't, we're not greedy and we don't eat everything, so we can send it to the people overseas who need those goods, all right? Even gasoline, all right? People are going to cut down on their gasoline use so they can send that gasoline over to fuel the planes in the Pacific. All right, women during this time, some of them are even going to join the military service, but a lot of them are going to find jobs that they otherwise could not have had because they were men's jobs, all right? So women, we can have a little bit of freedom now. We can have a job, all right? That's nice. That's pretty cool, all right? This is Rosie the Riveter, okay? If you don't know, choose one of your vocab terms. All right, this poster was put everywhere to show, hey, girls, you can do the work. You can help with the war as well. You can do more than what you think you can do, all right? That's her. Okay, we got all these posters. Oh my gosh, take a look at these. These are pretty funny. This one, oh my gosh. I need to do an assignment on this one. It says, when you ride alone, you ride with Hitler. Join a car sharing club today. I think it was pretty funny because it's saying, hey, if you aren't carpooling, you're wasting gas. And if you're wasting gas, the gas that could have been sent to the troops is not being sent to the troops, so you're actually helping the other side win. It's pretty crazy. A lot of these are about rationing, like make sure that you eat all your food, you don't waste anything, all right? And like the little girl and her mom saying, yes, we got enough just for our family. This one right here says, gee, I wish I were a man. I'd join the Navy. Oh, ladies, oh, man. All right, what's going to happen with women? Like I said, they're going to join the workforce, all right? But it's going to be more difficult for black workers to find jobs because racism, okay? Racism is bad, all right? But that is why they're not going to get work as easily as white women, all right? Okay, A. Philip Randolph. All right, he is going to be a black activist. Okay, so I got to tell you a story with this one. He went to FDR before he died. He went to President Roosevelt, and he was like, hey, what? I think he wants to integrate. Okay, yeah, he wants to integrate the military. He wants to desegregate because at the time he had a black army, he had a white army, and he's like, yo, if we're all fighting for the same thing, why are we segregated by color? But FDR says, no, we're not going to do that. So you need to understand his original intent was to desegregate the military, But that does not happen, but that's what he wanted to happen. He wanted it to happen, Oh yeah, okay. He wanted to. Okay, here we go. He wanted it to happen so bad. He was going to do a march on Washington. We see that march on Washington. Okay, he wanted to do that to like protest. It's like a protest. It's the marches. Okay, but FDR is gonna be like, oh my gosh, if we have a riot, then Hitler's gonna think that we suck, and he's gonna like make propaganda about us saying that we can't even handle our own people. Like, how can we handle it in a war? So before he did the march on Washington, FDR said, hey, let's sit down. Let's talk this out. All right. So what he's going to do is prohibit discrimination against black workers. Okay. Black workers. So A. Philip Randolph wanted to desegregate the military. FDR said no. So then he was going to go on a protest, and then FDR was like, okay, let's talk. How about we just no discrimination in jobs? Okay, so you need to know his original intent was to desegregate the military. Did not happen. All right, instead he got helped trying to prohibit discrimination in the workplace. But does that really happen? No, because of racism. All right, but that's A. Philip Randolph, and he actually inspires MLK with the March on Washington. If you've heard of that before, where MLK like gives his "I Have a Dream" speech, he is actually inspired by A. Philip Randolph. Okay, I can't point this. Where is it? There. Oh, okay, so if we remember, Pearl Harbor was destroyed by the Japanese fleet, right? Okay, so everybody's freaking out thinking that every Japanese person in America is a spy or on their side. But is that true? Do you think that Japanese Americans are working for the Japanese government? They think that they're spies? No, but racism, okay? So what happens to the Japanese people is they are going to be put in concentration camps or internment camps where they have to go to this place and they have to like live there, all right? And a lot of times people are like, wait, but Germany and Italy, they were bad too. Why didn't they get put in concentration camps? The reason is because, what do you think? Why do you think? You can tell if someone is Japanese better than if someone's German, right? You know what I'm saying? Same thing when we talked about the Chinese laborers, right? Okay, I can look at a white person, I'd be like, I don't know, like, what kind of white you are. Like, honestly, I don't. But you look at an Asian person, it's a lot more distinguishable, okay? So that is why the Japanese people were targeted and the German and Italian people were not. Racism, okay? There's a great rap song about the internment camps here. I call them concentration camps because in college, I learned that, I know we say concentration, we think of Auschwitz and all the people who died during the Holocaust, but those are actually death camps because people die, all right? Concentration camps is just when you take a bunch of people together, okay, and you concentrate them, okay? But you're gonna need to know them as internment camps. It's gonna be the same sort of thing. All right, let me go back up there. All right, they think that all the Japanese Americans are spies. That is not true. Yet look how racist we are. We make crap like this. Like, that's awful. All right, and so on your study guide, it says, what is Executive Order 9066? Right here, what it is putting Japanese Americans in internment camps and concentration camps and not letting them go to work, not letting them have their homes. So right here it says a lot of people lose their homes, businesses, and farms. Okay, and when they come back, like everything's destroyed because everyone hates them because racism. Okay, so during this time, we'll usually think, hey, Germany was a bad one. They had concentration camps. Yes, they did. They had death camps. They killed people, which was awful. But we weren't so innocent either. We didn't kill these people, but we took them away from everything they had. Okay, not nice. All right, here's some pictures of internment camps. Like, they had barbed wire and guns pointing into these people. Like, oh my gosh, you had to live in these barracks. Like, we did not tell people like what this was. Like, you have children who are super confused, have no idea what's going on just because they're Japanese. All right. Please, if you can watch this video, it is so cute. This little kid meets somebody who was actually in an internment camp when he was his age. It's so cute. Like, please take a listen. I love that video. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're done. See, that was a lot of information because Standard 19 is huge, which is why we split your tests up. All right. But hopefully you listened to this video. Hopefully it helped you understand some of those concepts. Again, if you have any questions, just email me at taylor.slack@barrow.k12.ga.us. Okay? All right, so that is Standard 19.